Howdy folks. Just wanted to give you a positive experience that I had last night using Linux, or actually installing Linux on my mother-in-law's machine. She was having problems with her Windows machine and came over, and the machine was just completely non-operable. You know, the resources were just at 100%. Memory was at 98%. CPU was just completely taxed at 100%. Couldn't do anything. I think it took like about a half an hour to boot up. And after messing around with it, I mean, she had so many versions of malware and just all kinds of stuff in there. Even McAfee just causing so many problems. I just said, you know what, let me download Linux Mint for you. I had an extra hard drive. I threw it in her machine, and within an hour was showing her the ropes, showing her how to use it, and she was just overjoyed. She couldn't believe that this machine that she thought was so, bad and old and beat up, and it's a recent machine. It has an i7 in it, and now she has basically a brand new machine. She's got back to square one, and with a better, more secure, and a speedier and snappier operating system. So if she can do it, then there's no reason that any of you, I just wish I can get the word out to more people about Linux, just to give it a try. And I think after a few days, I think you'll realize that you're not missing anything on Windows and Mac, and it's just it's a glorious experience once you realize that you don't have to deal with that kind of system that's completely clogged up, and dealing with the upgrades and updates and that are just completely, it's just a joke. Like Mac doesn't even allow you to update with certain older hardware. It's just a money grab to buy new, hardware, just for them to sell new hardware. It's a machine that's 5 years old. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to run the latest operating system. If I could run, some of these Linux machines on these older pieces of hardware, there's no reason that you can't run Mac, or, it's just their way of getting you to buy new software, new hardware, and it's just a joke. I have an iPad mini Gen 1, and I just reformatted it, and recently they wouldn't let me install the apps. The apps in the App Store are the most recent apps only, and they require iOS 10, and I am only allowed to upgrade to iOS 9 or even whatever. So basically I couldn't even install half the apps that I once had before I reformatted, before I in fact reset the iPad. And it's just a joke. I mean, now it's basically a brick. I don't even think I used it for more than a couple hours. It's been sitting in a drawer. But for them to not allow you, I don't even know how it's legal, no less unethical, that they don't allow you to upgrade their software. They say it's because, hardware can't handle it or whatever. It's a joke. The hardware hasn't really changed that dramatically that it can't run. You should be able to turn settings off to have it run lean. But I've given up completely on Windows and Mac, and I'm trying my best to get people to understand that there is an alternative option out there, and Linux is something that I believe it's a game changer. And people, they just, because like she said, she didn't even know it existed, and I basically sat her down and explained to her, and I use Linux Mint because it's fairly close to a Windows alternative, and she got it right away. I mean, she's in her 70s, and she had no problem understanding. I had her on Thunderbird for a while, so that was easy for her to get her email, but she looked at me like I was a magician when I launched Chromium and got all her bookmarks and all her settings and everything from just hitting sync, and she was like, how did you do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, how did you just got all my stuff back, just, and it was just like a magic trick to her. But it's, and that's the power, and that's the beauty of an operating system that actually works, and something that you're not sitting there wasting your time waiting. Even the mouse wasn't moving on her machine last night. Like, I couldn't even, like, that's how much the resources were just completely taxed. Like, her machine was completely exhausted, and I popped in a new hard drive. It's not even an SSD, but for her it's like a whole new computer. So, I just wish I can get more people to understand that there is another alternative to try Linux. Just give it a shot, and I guarantee you, in a week, in a couple days, you're not even going to look back. You're going to wonder, why did I wait so long to get off Windows? Why hadn't I done this sooner? Why why hasn't somebody shown me the way? So that's all for now. Just another positive experience with Linux. Like I said, if she's in her 70s and she could do it, there's no reason that you can't too. So keep using Linux, keep having fun. Till I catch you next time.